And here it is, my fourth go around with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've done so many videos on them already, I may as well rename this channel Smug Face Turtles. Nah, that wouldn't fly. Now if you haven't already, please do go check out my videos on two legendary Turtles games in Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo and Tournament Fighters, also on the Super Nintendo. And speaking of those two, they are both set to feature in an upcoming Ninja Turtles title, more on that in a bit. Anyway, the year 2022 is shaping up to be quite an exciting and fun new chapter in the legacy of the Ninja Turtles. It was announced that TMNT Shredder's Revenge will be coming to PC and consoles in the summer of 2022, with a trailer that immediately got fans of the show buzzing as it paid homage to the 87 Ninja Turtles show with that classic intro theme.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in the half shell.
There was a brief snippet of the gameplay at the end of the trailer which looked really fun and interesting. A few other trailers were to follow, and this further expanded on the gameplay and who were going to be the main characters in the game. Obviously you had the four turtles in from the start, but now you could add to that Master Splinter and April O'Neil in full fight mode. Yep, times have changed. No longer is she the damsel in distress, she's the butt-kicking badass femme fatale. But my god, they had her use that awful yellow jumpsuit. Come on. The game is made by the same team who made Streets of Rage 4, so you can already see plenty of similarities. Now, whilst there is only a handful of videos showcasing the game, from what we have seen, it looks very pleasing, very fun, very wacky indeed, and it is the perfect love letter to the generation of fans who grew up with the 87 show. Now, to be frank, this is what a modern update of the Ninja Turtles platformer games should look like, should feel like, and play like. Do you hear that, Turtles Reshelled? You complete and utter abomination. Ugh. I did mention this game being based on the 87 show. Well, if there was another reason to be even more excited, the original TMNT voice cast reunite to reprise their roles. It is so cool hearing Cam Clark, Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon and Rob Paulson back in their Turtles roles, and it really is like the cartoon come to life. Except this time, you're in control as opposed to just simply sitting back and watching. Now of course it is very easy to get carried away and swept up in all the excitement, only to play the game and be somewhat underwhelmed or disappointed as Reshelled unfortunately proved. You complete and utter abomination. Puh. But however, given that the makers of the game were die-hard fans of the Turtles, they took great care to produce this title, and I personally feel it is going to be a big hit this time. And with the option to play online multiplayer, I can play with friends and family anywhere across the world. Or in my case, country, as that's where most of my fellow family, friends and gamers are based. I'm not sure why I told you that, useless information. Moving on. This option would immediately rekindle those fun memories I had playing Turtles in Time as a kid, and it personally captures for me the essence of playing video games of a beloved franchise in a simple setting as opposed to the Call of Duty and Fortnite games. Now, there's nothing wrong with those whatsoever, but I'm a bit of an old school, and Shredder's Revenge, that's more my thing. Shredder's Revenge isn't the only Ninja Turtles game coming out this year. It was announced that a retro collection compilation of classic TMNT games was coming to consoles and includes some of the most popular Ninja Turtles games ever made by Konami. The game will be known as the Cowabunga Collection. A grand total of 13 classic games are included in this collection. Unfortunately though, for fans of the 2003 Ninja Turtles series, none of those games representing that franchise are present here. I don't think there'll be too much disappointment with that from fans, although personally I would not have minded if they included Battle Nexus from the PlayStation 2 or Mutant Nightmare on the Nintendo DS. Now this collection of games spans across 5 retro gaming systems: the Game Boy, the original NES, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, and the arcade cabinet. Now if you're an owner of the mini consoles or you have an online emulator, chances are you're not overly enjoyed as you own most if not all of these games and don't think it's worth shelling the money out for. I personally happen to own a SNES Mini and an emulator which has some of these games, not all, but I'm still more than happy for this collection to come as I finally get a chance to play some of those classic Ninja Turtles games that I never really got to play. I have mentioned my video on TMNT Tournament Fighters for the SNES. I never really got into playing the Genesis or the NES versions of those games, so that is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Although looking at the graphics and the gameplay, it's a very safe bet that I would still prefer the SNES version. But regardless, it looks like a great opportunity to dive headfirst into these versions and try them out. The NES version, I must say, is looking the weakest of the bunch and would more than likely be played out of curiosity rather than actual fun. Speaking of the NES versions, the NES trio of TMNT, TMNT the arcade game, and TMNT3 the Manhattan Project are games that I never really got to play. Now whilst I did dabble with the first Turtles a little bit, but not so much the other two, and to be brutally honest, of this bunch, Manhattan Project is really the only one I'm looking forward to playing. I didn't really like the first TMNT as I thought it was blocky and very difficult to play. Part 2 is essentially a watered 8-bit version of the arcade game, so it's my least favourite of the bunch. But as I said, I'm really looking forward to Manhattan Project as it's considered one of the best TMNT platformers ever made. Moving on to the Game Boy section. Now, I remember as a young kid playing hours on end TMNT 2 Back from the Sewers, and I completed it over and over again. It's one I'm most definitely looking forward to getting stuck into again, and I also did love Fall of the Foot Clan, and I wasted many hours as well on this one. Now, little known fact, well, not really a fact, more of what happened to me when I was younger, I actually played Back from the Sewers first, and then I played Fall of the Foot Clan. Now, whilst I did enjoy Fall of the Foot Clan, Back from the Sewers was always the one for me. But still, I'm looking forward to renewing acquaintances with both these games. Now, the game that was considered the best of this bunch was Radical Rescue. I never had the chance to play it, even with an emulator. Shocking, I know, for someone who was an avid Turtles fan, but all the more reason I'm looking forward to this one in particular. It has had so many positive reviews over the years, and it definitely looks like a fun platformer to play. So of all the TMNT games I have never played before, this game and Manhattan Project are the ones I'm looking forward to playing the most. The Sega Genesis / Mega Drive has the tournament fighters of this game, as I mentioned earlier, and much like the NES version, this is more out of curiosity for me to check it out. Whilst it certainly has its own look, lineup and feel, which differs vastly from the SNES port, it's likely to be amongst the games I play the least from this collection. Now, however, I think Hyperstone Heist is likely to be the opposite. For the most part, it's the Mega Drive version of Turtles in Time, which basically plays and feels the same, albeit with some different background settings, some different villains, and different voice acting. Now, I did play this game quite a lot when I was younger, but it came off at times as a Turtles in Time ripoff, a lot less popular, and it just fell short. But it was still a great game for me to play, and it's one that I definitely want to get reacquainted with when it comes out. Finally ending this with the arcade ports of TMNT and TMNT Turtles in Time. Now these games I did play quite a lot, not just in my young days but as an adult, as I did purchase the TMNT arcade game on the Xbox 360 and I did play it for a while, and it wasn't the actual arcade which ate many of my coins. I was able to clock the game without losing any money and it didn't hurt my wallet whatsoever. But I did lose a lot of lives in completing this game as it was ridiculously hard, and explains why the arcade cabinets made so much money back in the day, with angry gullible kids wanting to keep inserting their money to try and clock it. That's how they get you. This will likely be on the list of least played games as well, and it's probably better to play with other players rather than just yourself. And ending on the Turtles in Time arcade version, like the first arcade, a lot of coins were lost in completing this game. Growing up with it, it was so much fun to play, and the one key thing it holds over the SNES version is the ability to have 4 players at once. That, more so than anything, was the best thing about the arcade port. The SNES version for me will always be the superior of the two, but it's going to be a lot of fun revisiting this game. Can't wait. Although the setup of this does look a little familiar, like someone copied them. Oh no, more bad memories of that abomination. Puh. Thank God it's not part of this collection. Absolutely awful. Awful. Now, with all that said, the Cowabunga Collection is a much welcome addition to the gaming library of the Ninja Turtles. I think we can all agree that Shredder's Revenge is the one that most, or likely all fans are looking forward to. A game that looks and feels like it encompasses the phrase, a game made by the fans, for the fans. And quite frankly, looking into it, who can argue? We were all used to games like League of Legends or Fortnite or other RTS and FPS titles dominating the modern day world of gaming, but there will forever be that base of gamers who are die-hard Ninja Turtles fans and like things to be kept rather simple. A modern day platformer of such a beloved franchise is for sure the way to go, catering to the old school while entertaining the newer generation. 2022 is the year of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.